I'm Grace Welch.
I'm Ellie Stout, and we'd like to present to you
Nellie Bly,
how the best reporter in America
led the way for women in journalism and created a legacy of investigative reporting,
resulting in social reform.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Nellie Bly makes history. Read all about it. Nellie Bly breaks the record for the fastest trip around the world. Miss Bly, come over here. Miss Bly, what do you have to say about your trip? From Jersey to Jersey is around the world, and I'm so happy to be in Jersey now.
Miss Bly, on January 25th, 1890, Nellie Bly,
daredevil reporter,
completed a trip circumnavigating the globe in just over 72 days. This would have been hard for anyone, let alone a woman.
Mainstream newspapers were man's business, but Nellie was determined to play with the big boys.
Nellie Bly exhibited leadership.
She fought the socially constructed parameters
that were not considered appropriate for a female reporter. Nellie Bly created a legacy, following her groundbreaking work as an investigative reporter
and writing during a time when female voices were overwhelmingly silent. Doors flew open that had been closed for women.
Elizabeth Cochran, later known as Nellie Bly, lived and worked in the Progressive Era, a period of social activism and political reform that flourished from the 1890s to the 1920s and was a response to the rapid industrialization introduced.
In January of 1885, in the Pittsburgh Dispatch, Nellie read a column by Erasmus Wilson, in which she wrote,
"Restless, dissatisfied females who move outside their sphere are forever on the lookout for gnats and are constantly swallowing camels. There is no greater abnormity than a woman in breeches
unless it is a man in petticoats." Mother, what is Elizabeth? This writer believes that a woman's sphere is defined and located by a single word, home. Oh, I bet he's a gray-haired shark, those sour little cats would look pretty through you. Elizabeth was not one to sit back and watch the world pass by. She responded to the column, "Can they that have plenty realize what it is to be a working woman?"
To deny herself the necessary food that her little ones may not go hungry.
She signed
Lonely Orphan Girl.
The letter caught the attention of editor George Madden, who at once employed her as the paper's first female reporter. Her writing was forceful, her voice quick and strong. Elizabeth, you'll need a pen name.
Contemporary female writers were called such names as
Bessie Bramble
Betty Fern
and Penelope Penfeather.
They decided on
Nellie Bly.
Her salary was $5 a week.
She was not only a good reporter, but a born leader. Give her a cause and she went into battle. In just a few months, my regional reputation had grown. The paper raised my salary to $15 a week, but they couldn't find an assignment to my taste. We jarred and buzzed for 3 months over articles on gardening and theater. It was time to find a new newspaper to conquer. Nellie left only a note for the editor. "I'm off to New York City. Look out for me, Bly."
In the U.S. in 1880, only 2% of journalists were women. Almost broke and very discouraged, Nellie wondered,
Was there a place for a woman journalist in New York? The newsroom was a place to make it smoke, drink, and swear. Men preferred.
a man is of far greater service than a woman. We would not send a woman to cover fire.
We won't even send a woman out in the rain.
Rejected at every paper, Nellie reminded herself of her personal mantra. Energy rightly applied and directed will accomplish anything.
I'm not giving up.
Nellie went to the office of the World newspaper owned by Joseph Pulitzer. She refused to leave until she saw the managing editor, Mr. Cockrell. He was the sort of man who would be selected, the exalted ruler of the exalted elves.
Who is she and why is she in my chair? Mr. Cockrell, I have a story for you, and if you won't take it, I have 6 other editors, which she named individually, to take it to. It was a proposal for Nellie to seek passage to Europe. I suggested a new story. will be Nellie Bly. The inner workings of asylums are hidden from the press and the public. We want to learn them.
After I get into the asylum, how will I get out?
I don't know. Just get in.
Could I pass a night at Blackwell Island? I said I could, and I would, and I did.
Nellie went to a temporary home on 2nd Avenue. She made sure she was sleep deprived. On the 3rd night,
She refused to leave her room. Miss Brown, come out.
I'm not coming out. Everyone out there is crazy. I'll stay in my room forever.
Miss Brown, come out of your room.
I will not. I've got to find my pistol. It was in here somewhere. It was loaded.
This one's crazy.
she'll murder us by morning.
We need to call someone.
It was the greatest night of my existence.
Nellie was taken to Bellevue Hospital for 2 days of testing. She's insane. Softening of the brain.
As I entered Blackwell Island, I was told to remove my clothing. Then I was scrubbed, and silver buckets of icy water poured over me. Into my nose, my mouth, my eyes. For once, I did look insane. That night, I struggled to sleep. It was cold, and I could hear women crying, swearing, and praying.
Please. Blackwell Island was a human rat trap. It was easy to get in, but impossible to get out. New York newspapers were full of chilling tales of brutality. It was meant to be a state-of-the-art institution, but when funding was cut, the progressive plans went out the window. What? Accepting torture would produce insanity quicker than this treatment? Here's a class of women sent to be cured.
I would like the expert physicians who are condemning me for my actions
To take a perfectly sane and healthy woman, shut her up, and make her sit from 6 a.m. till 8 p.m. on straight back benches.
Do not allow her to talk or move during these hours. Give her no reading, and let her know nothing of the world or its doings.
Give her bad food and harsh treatment, and see how long it will take to make her insane.
2 months would make her a mental and physical wreck. After 10 days, the editors of the world got Nellie released. In her article, Behind the Silent Bars, she wrote, I looked forward so eagerly to leaving the horrible place. For 10 days, I had been one of them. It was so difficult to leave the women behind. But now, I can tell her story to the world.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Nellie Bly's released from Blackwell. Read all about it. The mystery of the unknown insane girl. Nellie, was it really that bad in Blackwell's?
I am proud to tell you that the district attorney will be investigating the asylum. We are hopeful for changes.
A 20-year-old girl had been prevailed from the most hushed-up subject on earth.
Insanity.
As a result of Nellie's investigative journalism, the asylum received an increase in funds from the Department of Public Charities and Corrections.
They made sure the future examinations were thorough, so that only the seriously ill actually went to the asylum.
That is the power of the pen. Nellie Bly became an explosive national presence.
Nellie continued to lead others into investigative reporting. She exposed unfair factory facilities, a market for selling babies, and single-handedly dethroned a lobbying king. In 1873, Jules Verne wrote Around the World in 80 Days, and his inspiration of a novel became her inspiration for the assignment of her life. But the business manager at The World was disposed to send a man. I would not send a woman across the city, let alone the world.
Very well. Start the man, and I'll start the same day for some other newspaper and beat him.
On November 14, 1889, she boarded the Augusta Victoria and began her trip around the world.
Packing very light, I brought the dress I was wearing, a sturdy overcoat, pens, ink, paper, a bulky and uncompromising jar of cream, and a reliable watch.
On her journey, Nellie Bly traveled through and wrote about England, Yemen,
Singapore, and Japan.
72 days after my departure from Hoboken, I was welcomed back to New York by a cheery crowd.
Jules Verne declared in 80 days, a man the trip could do.
Along trots Nellie Bly and does the job in 72.
I wonder when they'll send a girl to travel around the sky.
Read the answers and the stars. They wait for Nellie Bly.
Nellie's trip was not just a race against time.
It was a symbol of the newly politicized and independent women of her age who fought for new possibilities.
She was fearless. She was female.
She was the personification of pluck. Nellie Bly believed,
energy rightly applied and directed will accomplish anything.
And it did seem that Nellie could accomplish anything. Modern-day investigative journalists do not have the fear of being ridiculed because of Bly's leadership.
Nellie's legacy lives on through people like Christiane Amanpour
And Barbara Ehrenreich, both of these women of the 21st century, for the same reason Nellie did in the 19th century.
To make a difference in the world.
But the race is not yet run.
In 2015, women account for only 36%